Hello, friends. Welcome. How are you? And if you're joining us for the first time here on the channel, I am Ananda Rose and I am the guardian of this YouTube channel. Friends, today I thought I'd come online and say hi. It's been a long time and just do a little bit of sharing about what's been going on in my world and some things that I thought that would be valuable for all of you. Okay. Friends, it's been a very busy time in my world. I have taken on Grammy duties, I am a Grammy, a grandmother, a Grammy. And I've taken on Grammy duties 2 days a week, and that kind of keeps me busy. But also, there's been a lot of stuff going on in my family that required my attention. And so I am basically doing a lot of that. But I've also haven't had the vibration to be online much. It just felt like I needed to. I didn't take this deliberate step back from being on social media, but circumstances in my life kind of allowed that to happen. I suddenly had a situation where, I changed service providers with my mobile phone, and where I use the mobile, and when I'm out doing shorts and things like that, I suddenly didn't have this because in the transition phase, I had to use a temporary number, and it was all sorts of technology stuff going on. I'm told the astrology speaks to that, and so that's great that the astrology speaks to that. So, friends, the energies have been intense, and I don't have to tell you that. Everybody else is telling you that on YouTube. I've also felt like I really needed to come online and talk about something that was really divinely orchestrated and influenced by my higher self. And so I feel like often we speak about things that we hear other people talking about and we sort of get we get that idea. And I do it all the time. This is not a slight on anybody. If it's a slight on anyone, perhaps it's about me, a slight on me, but it's not a slight. It's just saying what we do, right? I have been speaking to my higher self about what is it that I am to do authentically from my sovereignty, from my authenticity here in the collective. And I'm starting to figure that out. And so, in the weeks ahead, I am going to be advertising a workshop I've been planning in this time. I've been getting downloads from my higher self, and I'll be offering it to everybody. So, I want to say also, friends, every time I do this, I feel like it falls on deaf ears or it doesn't reach the right people. And I'm not sure why that is. And I do everything that I'm supposed to do to promote it on YouTube. And so, and somehow, I don't get the results I'm expecting. However, this one is different in the sense that I really got given a download by my higher self to do this because initially at the beginning of 2026, I was thinking, and I think I said it in one of my videos, well, I don't know what I'm going to be doing this year. I don't know what my offering to the collective is this year. And so I said to my higher self, well, come on, you have got our blueprint. And more importantly, I'm the physical being here that you signed up for. And so I'd like to know what the blueprint is. And so I've been given not necessarily all of my blueprint, but I've been given the pathway to the blueprint, to the soul contract, and into accessing Akashic records directly. Now, I know a lot of people know how to do that, yes, but I know for myself that the Akashic records, I've had Akashic record readings, and I just feel a little bit more confused rather than clear afterwards. And my thing is, okay, why can't I just get clarity myself? This is, after all, me. It's my soul contract. It's my past lives, and I should be able to access it and know what it is that I'm acting out in this lifetime, what karma I'm acting out in this lifetime, right? So I think that's an important thing for all of us. So, friends, I, this is coming up. This is going to be coming up. And I'm going to tell you more about a, f- a few things that's happened in my world um, in the last few weeks. And I've had another shift in understanding and going back to something I was always dependent on before I started this part of my awakening journey. So now that I did this big introduction, let's bring some energy in and just calling in balance and clarity for all of us. Taking a moment to breathe. Friends, I have a piece of anandamide, which is a kind of clear quartz. Putting it on the third eye, feet firmly planted on the ground, breathing all the way back to the Bindu chakra, which is there at the altar major, the back of your head, over the crown and to the third eye. Breathing into the third eye, looking into your third eye, and then just taking it over the crown and down to the altar major. Clearing us. So, friends, take a moment to breathe again and come back. In the last month or so, in this time of being away from social media, it wasn't it wasn't my doing. Honestly, it was just something that happened, life circumstances, and in some way, obviously divinely orchestrated. When I asked my higher self for my blueprint, one of the things I was trying to do was a process every day to do my meditation and call in guidance. And then one of the things I was following, or the process I was following, required, and this is from an author, required we do affirmations. And I thought, I don't want to do affirmations. They don't work for me. And because right away when I say it in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, right. And I thought, oh, so I don't know if you find that. Because I definitely have issues with affirmations from that perspective. And so what happened was I just let it be and I thought I can't do the affirmations. I'm just going to do the other processes, but I can't do the affirmations. And that was fine. I just carried on my process. Then I had the trouble with the phone and then I wasn't listening to like astrology and I just suddenly had this moment where I had to make sure I didn't use up a lot of data on my phone or on the Wi-Fi and I just turned off the YouTube. I did not carry on with YouTube or any other social media. And the first week, I kept hearing Psalm 23, which is, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not be in want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. I ignored that. I didn't think anything of it. And then the weekend following, I was reading this amazing book. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I keep hearing Psalm 91. Okay. And I thought, that's interesting. Go back. And I only hear this about Psalm 91. He who lives in the secret place of the Most High rests in the shadow of the Almighty. And I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him will I trust. And I thought, oh, okay. Why am I hearing that? And then I realized something. Years and years ago, when I was a Christian, I personalized the Psalms and I said them every morning. And they worked for me. They shifted and moved things for me. Now, I know that a lot of people don't like the God word. A lot of people, um, it puts them off, or they've left the church, or they don't want to be a part of Christianity. And that's all good. This is not to say we're asking you to become Christian or to start using the Bible, but it's to say there's some things in our lives that we have been given through the years, even before we got to this state of awakening. that can still work. So if maybe affirmations are not your thing, maybe if you did Psalms in the past and you thought, oh, I want to do that, maybe that will work for me because you can modify that Psalm for yourself, right? Right. And because I used to say, Lord, you are my shepherd. I could say, Goddess, you are my shepherd. Yeah. You make me lie down in green pastures. You lead me beside still waters. You restore my soul. And I'm just going to skip a few verses and say, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, my dark night of the soul, you are with me. You comfort me. Yeah. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows, meaning my abundance flows into my world. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and love will follow me all the days of my life, and I will live in the universe. The house of God is the universe forever. Now, no, it's not a Sunday school lesson. It's to remind you that if you depended on these things, now take them again. If you struggle with affirmations, take them again. See if this will work for you, right? I was astounded when I read Psalm 91, and I'll tell you why. Because if all of us read Psalm 91 for the last 5 years, we would not have had such a pandemic because it talks about the pestilence, it talks about the plague. So, if we live in the shelter, in the secret place of the universe, under the wings of the universe, kept protected, nothing shall come near us. We are protected. That's how much protection we have. And if we truly understand that, then and in that way, I can tell you we would have not had the last 5 years. And yes, some people say the last 5 years was necessary, fine. But the fear of a plague would not have been the outcome we had. We would have had it in a different way. We might, as a people, as a planet, have experienced life differently, overcome a different way. I was saying it on radio because, I do radio. For those of you who don't, I do radio. I do a radio show every Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. New Zealand time on East FM. And I talked about it there. And I said, well, I felt that if we'd all said Psalm 91 and believed it with the purity of our heart, we would have been the warriors, the peaceful galactic warriors that we are. We would have shown ourselves. Okay. Perhaps there wouldn't have been so much suffering and fear and worry. Yes, in recent times, I've been speaking, although I've not been doing work online. I've been doing work with other people, coaching and counseling them offline. I've come across many people who are struggling with life, who are feeling trapped in circumstances and can't find their way out. I've come across people who are feeling trapped but don't want to take the step to finding their way out of entrapment in relationships, in financial issues, in lack, in circumstances, in their jobs, all of those things. The planet is going through transformation. The people are going through transformation, and everybody's doing it at the same time. And it's sometimes it can be and feel chaotic, or it can feel like just being trapped the way you're thinking about it is a mind war or an entrapment in the mind because it's all happening in your mind and you don't know how you're going to get through it, right? So I was reminded because I woke up in the last week hearing Amazing Grace. Now, Amazing Grace was written by somebody called John Newton in the 1700s. It is John Newton, yes, John Newton. And I think he was part of the slave trade and he was part of this, for whatever reason, he wrote the song. And often it is sung at funerals, even to this day. And I guess it's to say we are, the way that song is projected in my understanding of it is like it's like we see ourselves as these sinful wretches. And we need to be cleansed, and God has forgiven us, and God has shown his mercy and all that, right? And that's okay because if in the days when I was a Christian, yeah, I get that. But In later times, somebody by the name, a Christian uh, singer or gospel singer, kind of readjusted the words. And for me, as I see it now, I would probably readjust it more, but I'll tell you what it is, what the words are. So it's Amazing Grace, how great the sound who saved a wretch like me, right? And so on and so on. Amazing Grace. Chris Tomlinson's one says, "My chains are gone, have been set free. My God, my Savior has ransomed me. And like a flood, his mercies reign, unending love, amazing grace." Friends, the chains that we hold ourselves in right now is the entrapments. I feel like it's about those chains, not the chains of slavery, being free from slavery. Now it's being free from the mind wars, being free from this entrapment that we're feeling because we need to shift or we need to be moving forward or our circumstances are keeping us in that kind of state. So, what can I say about this? I think that why am I talking about the scriptures or biblical scriptures? Because I feel that if you know anything of it, and if you got this far in the video, go and read them. Psalm 23, Psalm 91. I don't know where Amazing Grace is, but go look up the song, right? As I said, John Newton wrote it, and Christians have been singing it for years as a hymn, but also Chris Tomlinson did. He did a different version of it. And I would like to adapt it today for this time and space. Yeah. And bring in light language very shortly. But I am hoping that I'll do a few shorts with these little psalms and we will have a light language attached to it at the end. For us, for us to understand that we are taken care of. Psalm 23. We are the Lord is my shepherd, I am not in want. That's what I needed to say to myself when it came to the abundance issues. Yeah. My chains are gone. I've been set free. God has rescued me. And like a flood, mercies reign over me. Or like a flood, love reigns over me. Unending love, amazing grace, right? And if we understand Psalm 91, standing on the platform that we live in the secret place of the Most High, of the universe protects us like we're in a secret place. We rest in the shadow of the Almighty and we say of God, Goddess, Amma, Kali, you are my refuge, you're my fortress, my Goddess, my Kali in whom I trust. I'm trying to bring in this conversation the energy of the divine sacred feminine too, because she too is required to have this balance in our world. Yeah, sacred feminine, sacred masculine. Yeah. And last but not least, I think it's in Genesis, this one, Genesis 36 something. Jehovah Jireh, my provider, your grace is sufficient for me. My God shall supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. When I think about that, and I think we are told that there are storehouses in the universe of riches and gold and whatever. Is this true? Because does all of the universe operate on gold? Or is it just us here on Earth? But if there should be these storehouses full of gold and silver and whatever, then we call them in because Jehovah Jireh is Jehovah, God, the universe provider. That is the Hebrew word for God, right? Jehovah. The word that is used by our Muslim community is Allah, right? Other people like, and then it could be Shiva. It could be The Indian deity Shiva. It could be whomever it is, whatever word you use to call the universe. It could be universe, it could be source energy. So when they say Jehovah Jireh, they're referring to universe as the provider. Okay, because there's Jehovah Nissi, Jehovah Rapha. Each one means something. I think Jehovah Nissi means um I think it means healer. But they would in that time refer to universe that, from the sources of Christianity. In the Hebrew, they could call Jehovah Nissi or Jehovah Rapha, Jehovah Jireh, whatever it is that they were thinking of. In the case we would refer to God's source universe as Jehovah Jireh if you're needing, if you're lacking something and you're making a declaration, Jehovah Jireh, my provider, your grace is sufficient for me. You supply all my needs according to your riches and glory, and you give your angels charge over me. Jehovah Jireh cares for me, for you, for us. That was a song, a little verse that we sang, a chorus that we sang to imply, to show, to bring in the energy of abundance. So, friends, yes, my elbows slipping off the, the desk. I thought I might come and say these things to you today. There is no, I'm not going back into Christianity or anything like that, but what I want to say is when all else fails and you don't know how to shift your reality because, well, like me, you might feel like I did. I suck at affirmations. Perhaps other things can work. My higher self reminded me of what that is. And those used to work for me before. Those used to work for me in the days when I personalized the Psalms or specific scriptures. We're living in a chaotic time. We're living in a strange time. We're living in a time where Um, even if you go out shopping, sometimes you think, gosh, I can't be here. The energy's too much. I had somebody who lives in a car contact me the other day and say, Rose, I'm really finding it hard right now. Can we talk, please? And I will talk to her one of the days. Because the day she wanted, I couldn't tie it up. And then I suggested another day. And so that will be probably tomorrow. It is tough out there for people. And as I said on radio too, if you're having a good time, great. May that continue. May it continue for a long time because that's great. Friends, please join me. Let's have a sip of water and keep our feet firmly planted on the ground. Today, we're bringing in the energy of protection to understand that the universe is our shepherd. Oh, God is our shepherd. The Lord is our shepherd. Therefore, we are not in want. And is it possible this want and lack is the illusion? The want and lack is about programming and belief system. Because if you see beyond that, and I know that many of us, I know more than most, like most people, the dark night of the soul can make you forget this. Yeah, the dark night of the soul can make you forget this. It can make you forget all the things you have to make sure you can navigate life and push forward. Yeah, it can do that. So, what else? We live in the secret place of the Most High, of God. God seems very personal. Universe seems kind of vast, right? But someone just said to me earlier, they see uni as one and verse as a song. We're all one song. Yeah, we're a symphony in the universe. That's my friend Iona Atwater. So, knowing that we have the protection of the universe, knowing that we can, those Psalms bring it closer, more personal, bring it home. Yeah, Yeah, and that we know that the universe supplies all our needs according to its riches and glory. Yes. And if there are these storehouses of riches, then, call it into yourself, call it into your life. Let's keep doing that. That's not it doesn't have to be anything you work for. It can just be what the universe wants to give you, a gift. Right. Feet firmly planted on the ground. Take a breath. Kerma kituko, ratan kata kau naka wate. Inzara katu far naka wate te 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 foro kurma etikar endo kurishka o ete 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 ete. Thank you, beloved friends. Thank you so much. Thank you for your understanding, for your patience. We will be back. It sounded like that movie. You know, I mean, we will be back in action. Baxter and I, and other things happening on the channel. I'm just going with the flow of what the energy feels like and what my higher self guides me to. It's absolutely necessary. Thank you. Thank you. And if you feel so, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much. Namaste.